It turns out leaves aren't the only things that tend to fall this time of year. Denny Hamlin has many accolades like Daytona 500 champion and NASCAR team owner. But his most damning title, and the one that keeps him rolling around in bed at night unable to sleep, is most successful driver to never win a Cup championship. He has witnessed 19 attempts to win the Bill France Cup wither away completely in November. Believe it or not, but there are more people on this planet that were alive when the Titanic sunk than people that got to witness Denny Hamlin win a championship. Denny Hamlin not having the patch on his chest that says NASCAR Cup Series champion is the one thing that makes him kind of incredible. You could honestly compare Denny Hamlin's reputation with the fans to the reputation of most politicians to the citizens. Denny Hamlin is a polarizing driver that does something not many NASCAR drivers do in this modern era. He's the one that can bring out emotion in NASCAR fans whether you love him or hate him. He proudly wears the black hat as NASCAR's villain, beats his chest after he wins, and is so prideful whenever he wins.
They can boo my rock out here in a few years. I beat your favorite driver.
Denny Hamlin is not afraid to talk the talk and say this is his year.
It's our year. I just feel like we've got it all put together. We got the speed, every single type of racetrack, and nothing to stop us at this point.
I think you guys brought me on to try to get me to say something I shouldn't.
Well, you're good at it. Come on.
12 seconds later.
Would you tell people it's finally this year's the year you're going to win the championship? Just call it.
All right, this is it. This is the year. This is the year it's going to happen.
But when it's time to walk the walk, every year for the championship, Denny Hamlin gets beat by your favorite driver. All of them. It's easy to take Denny Hamlin unseriously, kind of like the threat of World War III, because every year on X it's trending, and then guess what? It never happens. That's the same way with Denny Hamlin, and unfortunately, traditional NASCAR fans see right through the facade. He isn't on the same level as Darrell Waltrip in the 80s, Jeff Gordon in the 90s, or Kyle Busch in the 2010s. It doesn't matter if Denny Hamlin gets to 60 wins or wins the Brickyard 400 to have all 4 crown jewel victories. NASCAR fans are mostly going to remember Denny Hamlin as the driver that throughout his entire career, the only cup he got was a Folgers Cup. So now we get into the question, is 2025 Denny Hamlin's year to win the NASCAR Cup Series championship? Honestly, at this point, debating whether this is Denny's year or it's not is honestly just NPC talking points. The high IQ individuals in the NASCAR community know that you need to rip a page out of the Jen Psaki playbook and circle back to this discussion when November rolls around. What I want to talk about is the factors that are going to see if Denny Hamlin can prolong his competitiveness and have maybe an opportunity to finally get that Bill France Cup that he so badly desires. Among the traditional NASCAR tracks like Darlington, Kansas, Bristol, and Martinsville, Denny Hamlin is still at the top of his game. However, there are things about Denny Hamlin's racecraft that need some fine-tuning, even as he's the most seasoned veteran in the series. So historically, Denny Hamlin as a driver is a chaser. This stems back to his late model days. He likes to be the one on offense, chasing down Kyle Larson or Martin Truex Jr. for the win. His defense, though, is lackluster, and arguably this was the thing that costed him a chance at competing for the championship in Phoenix this year. Plus, in terms of the Gen 7 car, he can improve at the super speedways and the road courses. Not to mention, if you want to be champion, as long as the format's still in place, you need to win the winner-take-all championship race in Phoenix. If Denny Hamlin is to win a championship, Joe Gibbs Racing has to become elite at the flat ovals like Phoenix. Statistically, when you look at Joey Logano and Paul Wolfe in these championship winner-take-all races, they go out, lead hundreds of laps, and win the race to take home the championship. However, the thing about being a NASCAR driver is that Father Time is undefeated. There will be a time where Denny Hamlin is the smartest driver in the series, but the weakest driver physically. When you look at history, being a NASCAR driver and being an athlete in general is a depreciating skill set. When Denny Hamlin takes the green flag in the 2025 Daytona 500, he will kick off his age 44 season. The only driver in NASCAR history older than Denny Hamlin's age 44 that went on to win the championship was Bobby Allison in his age 45 season. However, one problem is that door seems to close sooner and sooner, especially in this modern era. NASCAR in recent years has become a motorsport dominated by young blood. Now here's where I scare you Denny Hamlin fans out there and make you guys shiver in your spine, because Joe Gibbs Racing is the poster child for getting rid of their older drivers in favor of young ones. Matt Kenseth, a NASCAR Cup Series champion, still at the top of his game, was fired at JGR in favor of Eric Jones. Kyle Busch, the franchise driver of Joe Gibbs Racing, was forced to take his duffel bag and go to Richard Childress Racing of all places. And the thing is, it's not necessarily that these drivers just need to put the fries in the bag, bro, and they don't have any talent. We're at the point in NASCAR where younger drivers are desired because they also demand lower salaries. NASCAR is not the juggernaut it once was, and you look at a lot of the sponsors that have left this organization. The Home Depot and M&M's, their two championship sponsors, were like,
bye, Felicia.
Meanwhile, FedEx, Denny Hamlin's sponsor since 2006, gradually scaled back their sponsorship to where they ultimately announced during the final race of the 2024 season that they would not return to Joe Gibbs Racing. It is going to be interesting to see what happens on the sponsorship side this offseason. Does Joe Gibbs Racing find some bigger tier sponsors to help pay Denny Hamlin's salary, or could this be a repeat of Matt Kenseth in 2017? I'm not saying it's definitive, but it is possible that Denny Hamlin has signed his final contract extension with Joe Gibbs Racing, especially as the organization looks towards their promising future with Christopher Bell, Chase Briscoe, and Ty Gibbs. Denny Hamlin is, unfortunately, a driver with the bulk of his championship years in his rearview mirror. All those years of either crumbling under the pressure, multiple fluke mechanical issues, playing second fiddle to Kyle Busch, not having the speed in the championship race, or dealing with a flawed playoff system like in 2024. Now, Denny Hamlin fans, don't worry, because even if we go by the good old Winston format, Denny Hamlin still would be without a championship. Now, if you're thinking this video is going to end with some doom and gloom and more Denny Hamlin doesn't have a championship jokes, I just want you guys to look at my hat. The St. Louis Blues were the laughingstock of the NHL before the glorious 2019 season. I'm mentioning this because no matter all the heartbreaks and all the times where you're a lolcow of your sports league, you can still have that one amazing moment that quenches years, even decades of failure. Sure, there are a lot of great opportunities for Denny Hamlin in the rearview mirror, but there is still a window that is open for Denny Hamlin to hoist the Bill France Cup potentially as early as 2025.
Joe Gibbs Racing is splitting up Denny Hamlin and Chris Gabehart.
I certainly was shocked by it. That's all.
Did he tell you? Did he call you in and say, "Listen, I want to do this. I need your support"?
They gotta do what's best for the company, and I think that they're looking for an improvement on performance on the 54, and they're looking for an overall performance for all the teams.
Okay, believe it or not, but this is actually an add-on to the original video. So Chris Gabehart's gone as he is getting a promotion, as Joe Gibbs Racing had a vacancy in the technical director. Rather than try to get someone from another team, they decided to promote from within, and thus Chris Gabehart is going to oversee all 4 cars beginning in 2025. Now, while I understand that Joe Gibbs Racing desperately needs some changes, because it is unacceptable that that caliber of an organization hasn't won a cup race since June. If I'm Denny Hamlin, I feel insulted by this move. It's not just that he wasn't consulted on this, but I think this is Joe Gibbs indicating that Denny Hamlin is the past, while Christopher Bell, Chase Briscoe, and Ty Gibbs are the future. Yeah, Chris Gayle is solid, but when you break up an elite crew chief combination like Denny Hamlin and Chris Gabehart, usually the driver never sees the same caliber of results they had with their star crew chief. Some of the greatest examples include Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Steve Letarte, Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus, Kyle Busch and Adam Stevens, and Cole Pearn with Martin Truex Jr. Honestly, if you're a Denny Hamlin fan out there, my sympathies go out to you, and I believe that you guys might be in for a whirlwind of the next few seasons. Especially since this last year of Denny Hamlin reminds me of Jimmy Johnson's 2017 and 2018 seasons. Start off hot by winning 3 races, which the last one is at Dover. Then the team tapers off in the summer, limps throughout the playoffs into the round of 8, but just cannot get the job done to make it to the championship. They go winless, the main sponsor leaves, and now the main crew chief is gone. Denny Hamlin's path to a NASCAR championship just got 20 times harder, and possibly this might be the move we look back on and say, this was what slammed shut Denny Hamlin's opportunity to be a NASCAR champion. So if you enjoyed, there's more videos coming. Plus, if you want to watch Digital Gas House videos in advance, I encourage you to subscribe to my Patreon. Other than that, this is Nathan for Digital Gas House. Life's a beach, and then you drive.